Okay, my nerdy nog dogs. This is where the word problems get really challenging, right? So we want to set up our problems with our icons because it helps us stay organized. And again, if you write these in your spiral notebook, we can use them on a test. So hopefully they will be helpful to you. Okay, so here's our word problem for today. And there's Finn, the wonderful, growling at someone outside. Summer had 1,750 stamps. Elin had 480 fewer stamps than Summer. Summer gave some to Elin. Now Elin has 3 times as many. So much to answer for on this question. So I want to take you to my notebook because I would like to see your guys' notebook set up just the same using our icons. And this is a classic problem, what I would call our sum word problems. Okay, so how do we set up our sum word problems? Let me tell you, this is what makes it so easy is using these icons. So if you recall, the flower icon reminds us of what are the details that we might need. And in this case, our details are that Summer had 1,750 stamps. So Summer has 1,750 stamps. Elin had 480 fewer than Summer. So we're going to put E for Elin. And she has 480 less than Summer. Aha. So wouldn't that be the same as saying 1,750 minus 480? So she has 480 less than Summer. Now, there's a change in this because it says Summer gave some of her stamps to Elin. Now Elin has 3 times as many as Summer. So this is where it gets so tricky. Some. How do we know how many she gives, right? This is why the math and focus word problems are so challenging because they're multi-step, multi-operational. So let's break this up and really detail what we're looking for. What are we being asked? We're being asked, how many stamps did Elin have at first? And then we're being asked, how many stamps does she have now? Or does Summer have now? So Elin at first, that's what we're solving for on the first go around. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to use a before bar model and an after bar model. So if we're solving for Elin at first, let's see. So before, we know that Summer had 1,715. Here's the thing with bar models is they don't have to be an exacting amount of spaces. You can designate what they are, right? So this is going to be 1,750. Now I know Elin had less than that. So she had, let's just say about that amount, but she had 480 less. So I'm going to say this is 480 less than the total. So now I kind of need to do my math on that, right? I need to say 1,750 minus 480. So that's how I'm going to start this problem. And let's do the math. Borrow from there. That gives me 4. Oh, why did I do that? That's just a 0. Miss Nawg-Dawgs. Oh my gosh. Okay, so then I borrow from there. I get 15, 13 back. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I did with my math. I have to do my math all over again, and I messed up my beautiful page. Do you see how even math teachers can make mistakes, right? What am I doing here? So minus the 480. 0, borrow from here, 6, that gives me 15, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's what happens when we have too much time off work. 2 and 1, okay. So, finish that math problem. And I realized that Elin then has 1,270. Okay, does that bar model make sense for before, right? So it says Summer had 1,750 stamps. Elin had 480 fewer stamps than Summer. And then Summer gave some to Elin. She gave some of them. Now Elin has 3 times as many as Summer. So that was our before model. Now we have to draw 3 times. So now I've got my after bar model, and I'm just going to put a little line there. So I can kind of make them look the same. I know that she's going to give some, I don't know how much, but we're just going to color in this amount, and we know she gives them down here. So after, we know that Elin has 3 times as many as Summer. Oh, so just like our bar model from the other day, 2 times, when they throw in some and we have to solve for some, it can be really challenging. So how do we solve for some? Well, we work with the bar model because remember, numbers don't necessarily matter. However, the units do. So if we can identify those with the model, we know that Summer gave some to Elin, and at the end, Elin had 3 times as many as Summer. Now, here's the thing. Have their totals changed? No, they're just sharing and swapping amounts. So if we go back to what they had in the beginning, and in the beginning, Summer had 1,750, and Elin had 1,270, then we can add those together and find out how many total stamps they started with. So let's do that. It gives us 12. Okay, so this is total, and I like to label everything as I go. Total stamps at start. Because the amount of total stamps doesn't change. What changes is who has what. Okay, so if that's the total stamps they started with, guess what? They end with the same amount of stamps, 3,020. Aha! But now we know that Summer has 1 portion compared to Elin's 3 portions. Okay, so now we know that if I were to add all those portions together, they would equal 3,020. So what do we have to do? What's our next step in operations? Well, our next step in operations would be to divide the total by how many units. So now we're going to do 3,020 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4 units. So 4 goes into 3? No, it won't go into 3, but we need to put our 0 placeholder up. Will 4 divide into 30? Yeah, 4 goes into 30. I would say that 4 will go in 7 times. 7 times 4 gives me 28. Subtract 28 from 30 gives me 2. 4 will not divide into 2, but I can bring down his neighbor 2. 4 goes into 22 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Bring down my 2. 4 will not divide into 2, but I do have a 0 I can bring down, and it divides into 20 perfectly. That means I end up with the answer of 755. What does that mean? Well, remember, I just did 3,020 divided by 4 parts. So that 755 is the value of 1 part. Keep in mind, I can use multiplication to check my work. 755 times 4 would equal 3,020. So that means that this unit amount is 755. And if that's 755, then what's that? Oh, 755. And if that's 755, then this is 755. And this is 755. So now let's see if we can answer our questions. How many stamps did Elin have at first? Well, Elin at first had 1,270. How many stamps does Summer have now at the end? Summer at the end has 755 stamps. Guess what? If they asked you how many stamps Elin had at the end, 755 plus 755 plus 755, or 755 times 3. Aha! Do you see how complicated these are? Okay, so the one thing I hadn't talked to you guys about is this magnifying glass that was on this side. What is that for? That's for check your work. How could we check our work? Well, we're saying that there are 4 unit amounts, all divided by 3,000, or dividing our dividend being 3,020 divided by 4. So we could do multiplication to check our work there, and we did some of that. So this is what I call the sum word problems. And again, this is where bar models really make sense, okay? So if we can solve and find the value of 1 unit, we can solve for all of them, okay? That's the secret, my friends.